Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our March 2025 OC HMS user meeting. Please enter your name and agency into the chat for attendance. Our HMS team will cover the following topic in today's meeting. We're going to go over the HMS participating agency schedule, a HICPIT reminder, ticket submission, grievance process, data collection and release of information, and our report highlight for the month is our data accuracy dashboard, inactive user training process, data entry guidance, HMS interface focus group, UCI agency interview requests, and we have some training and resources to share, and an update on project performance report, a survey, and a holiday announcement, and we'll have some time for Q&A and office hours at the end of the meeting. A friendly reminder, all meeting materials and recording will be available on our OCHMS website. Throughout the meeting, we'll be sharing a Google Doc that will link all the links that we have included in our slides so that you can easily review and access while you're in the meeting. To better organize questions the HMS Help Desk receives during the meeting, our team recommends that you submit your question through the Q&A option. So please look at the bottom of your chat taskbar and you should see a Q&A icon. If you don't see it automatically set up, go ahead and click the more, the three dots, and there should be an option to include the Q&A icon. We will be covering and supporting with general questions. If there's any agency-specific questions, we do recommend submitting a ticket to the HMS Help Desk so that we can further investigate and provide support. This is our HMS participating agency schedule. It gives the agency a snapshot of all the different reports that are currently active during and throughout the year. Depending on the project type your agency operates, there's different reports that will be sent to your agency for review. In the next couple of slides, we'll be highlighting those reports that are currently active and in the reporting process. For our federal reporting, we have the system performance measure. We are expecting possibly a due date of March. We're still pending more updates from HUD. And for the HIC and shelter pit, we have already started that reporting process. So agencies that are participating in the HIC and shelter pit, all of the agencies' submission were due February 13th, and our target date for agencies to review their final data is March 28th. I don't see any questions regarding the schedules for the federal reporting, so we'll go forward with our local reporting. The updated reporting period is to support this year's COC application. So for our PPR corrections, they're going to be due March 19th, and the following PPR draft data will be sent out to agencies this week. So it's permanent supportive housing and other PH projects, rapid rehousing, and transitional housing. And for the data quality report card, that will be coming up next month. So those corrections are due April 18th, and the reporting period is this first quarter. I don't see questions regarding the PPR, so I'll go ahead and move forward. HMS team also wanted to provide a friendly reminder regarding the 2025 HIC and Shelter Pit report. Agencies that have the following project type are required to participate in the HIC and PIT: emergency shelter, transitional housing, rapid rehousing, parent supportive housing, and other parent housing. So if your agency has any new projects that came online and is currently operating since January, please ensure to reach out to our HMS help desk so that we can support you with participating and reporting in the HIC and Shelter Pit. We also have a knowledge base article that will have additional information and a recorded training regarding the reporting process. We also wanted to highlight the timeline that we have for this reporting. We are currently in this phase of the report where agencies have submitted their forms, and our HMS team is currently reviewing the submitted HIC form and shelter pit data. Our team will go ahead and reach out to your agency if we have any additional questions, but just want to give a big thanks to all the agencies that are participating and submitted their data. We will be reaching out shortly with additional questions and providing you a status update on your agency and projects. As noted, our target date to have agencies to finalize their data is towards the end of March. So during this time, we're going to be reviewing and making corrections and uploading into HDX. Just want to take a quick pause in case there's any questions regarding the HIC and Shelter Pit timeline, reporting timeline. I don't see any questions, so we'll go ahead and move forward. Amy?
Good morning. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, everyone. We're going to cover the topic next of ticket submission policies and procedures. The HMIS Help Desk has seen an increase in ticket submissions by non-HMIS agency administrator staff. Agency staff should not submit tickets or account update forms. All contact with the help desk must be made via the HMIS agency administrator for that organization. Tickets or account update forms submitted by non-HMIS agency administrators will be closed and redirected to the agency's agency administrator. Pause here for questions. Not seeing any questions, so we could probably move on. Okay, a gentle reminder as well that agency administrators are encouraged to create a Happy Fox account to submit and track ticket responses. And I'll be linking the Happy Fox account creation KB in the chat momentarily. We just encourage agency administrators to create a Happy Fox account because we understand how busy you all are. I'm sure you get a huge volume of emails in your inbox, and sometimes it can be tricky to track ticket responses. Happy Fox allows users to sign in and see all their ticket submissions, the statuses of those tickets, and most recent responses. Please also avoid submitting multiple tickets for an ongoing issue, but respond back on the existing ticket. This is because Happy Fox assigns tickets on a round-robin basis, and it's okay for you to submit tickets for multiple issues, but if you have an open ticket, and you're working with an assigned help desk support staff, please continue the conversation on the existing ticket for that issue. If a ticket is closed before an issue is fully resolved, AAs can reply back to reopen the ticket and request additional support. And I'll go ahead and link that in the chat for you for that Happy Fox KB account creation. And we'll pause for a moment for questions. I'm not seeing any immediate questions, so we'll go ahead and move on. We're going to cover the topic of ticket submission categories. So agency admins can select from the following ticket categories. Agency or project setup, you would use to request a new project or agency setup or ask questions about an existing project within your organization. Client record merges would be used to request merger of a duplicate client profile or to ask questions about profile merges. Client record requests is used when a client requests their HMIS record, and please use the UID for identification purposes. No PPI in these tickets, please. No dates of birth or last four of social. And feedback is used to respond to HMIS surveys or for other community feedback initiatives. We'll continue on. HMIS functionality issues is used when troubleshooting HMIS errors that staff members might encounter. Reports, including repository exports and corrections, is used to request new reports or provide updates or corrections to existing reports. And you can also use this category when asking questions about our general reports like LSA, SPM, HIC-PIT, etc. And the users and trainings category is used to request a reset of a training module or to ask questions or pose issues about any issues that are encountered when the user is onboarding. And we'll pause there for any questions.
I have a question.
Hi, Carmen.
Hi. So, let me see. So I noticed that each category, I think I'm right, has like its own email address. You guys email the administrative, is that correct? Like, let's say, for example, if I'm submitting a ticket around a report, then it looks like there's one OCHMIS or Happy Fox account that response comes from. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a great question, Carmen. I'm so glad you brought that up. The importance of the ticket categories is for the reason that you just posed, which is that we have scripting within HappyFox that if there's a specific ticket category selected, like the reports category, we do have staff members on our team that handle reports specifically. So we want to make sure that those tickets get directly to those staff members instead of having to go through a reassignment process.
Okay, thank you. And then so I've been responding back. How can I say this? Is there? Let's say, for example, there are 3 people working on report tickets. How do I know that my response to that report ticket email account goes to the right person? How is that handled?
Yeah, again, that's where the HappyFox account is really useful to respond back on the tickets that you have open. You can open each ticket individually and see what the response was and who's working with you on that ticket. You can also notify the staff member assisting you that you have open tickets with other staff members on their team. So if needed, our team can relate the tickets or merge the tickets on our end if needed to consolidate it to one staff member or have additional staff member support for the same issue.
Okay, so just so I understand, I should not, usually what I do is when I get an email response to my Outlook, I respond back there as opposed to doing it in HappyFox. Is there any difference or confusion about doing it that way?
No, there's no difference as long as you're responding back on the existing ticket, either through your inbox or through HappyFox. We just really encourage HappyFox because it's just easier to see and make sure that you're responding back to the most recent ticket thread. And that's just to avoid, maybe missing a response from a staff member.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Carmen. Thanks, Elizabeth, for the next slide. Our next topic will be HMIS grievance processes. So a friendly reminder that agencies must provide clients with the HMIS grievance form, which I'll be linking in the chat momentarily, and outline grievance policies during intake with clients. Both the agency and the HMIS grievance forms should be made available for clients to access without having to request a copy. The HMIS grievance form can be completed by the client if they believe that their HMIS data has been used in a manner that they disagree with or violates their rights. So I just want to quickly point out that the HMIS grievance form is specifically related to violations or disagreements with how their HMIS data was used and not grievance with the services that they received. Then the client must file a grievance with the agency of concern prior to completing the HMIS grievance form. And I'll go ahead and link the grievance form in the chat for you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, John.
When you're saying about the grievance for basically, what do you mean exactly? Because I've had some clients that I inform them of how HMI works, and they refuse it because they feel like they're like, how do I detail it more for them not to say like they're taking like we're helping them with housing, but they're not how would you say it? Like we're using it for a positive point. How would we word it differently to them?
No problem. Actually, I'm going to be covering that, and I believe in the next slide, I'll
Perfect.
go
Okay,
into a little more detail. So thank you for your question. So we're going to move on to data collection and release of information, which touches exactly on that point, John. HMIS users are required to collect universal data elements about all clients who participate in HMIS, regardless of the funding source. HMIS users must take steps to ensure that the data collection practices are made easy for clients to understand by providing them with a copy of OC HMIS's privacy notice during intake and upon request. And I'll go ahead and link that privacy notice in the chat momentarily. You all can take a look at it. Agencies should post and share the privacy notice wherever client intake occurs. And to your point, John, I really wanted to take a moment and let everybody know that the privacy notice is a great informed consent tool. It does go into great detail describing the different data elements that are collected and needed for HMIS data entry and how those data elements are used. So it's a great conversational tool. And I think if you want to take a look at that, John, I think you'll be able to kind of find that it leads participants through an understanding of, exactly what data elements are collected and, their rights as well when it comes to that data.
Thank you for that. I will look into it.
Mm-hmm. Data collection and release of information will continue on. During intake, the agency asks the clients for their consent to share their PPI data in HMIS by using the consent to share protected personal information form. Clients have a right to privacy and can refuse to sign the consent to share PPI form without being denied service. For the following demo, we will go through the profile privatization and anonymization process. But please review the accessing and completing release of information ROI page and the refusing revoking consent knowledge base articles for an outline of these procedures, which I'll be linking in the chat after our demo. And I will go ahead and share my screen and we'll quickly go through the client profile anonymization and privatization process. Can everybody see my screen? You should be seeing the search for client bar.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so sometimes participants will refuse to provide their consent to share data at intake, and other times clients with an existing record may no longer want to consent to sharing their data. For either circumstance, participant data can be entered into HMIS using either the privatization or anonymization pathway. For this demo, I will review what to do for both situations. For our demo purposes, I'll be signed into the HMIS training site and using fictitious client information. So as you can see, I'm on our OC Train website. So So for this first example, I will demonstrate the privatization of a client record at the point of record creation. This means that I have searched the HMIS database and no record currently exists for the client. To go about creating a private client record, I'm going to click the Add Client button here at the top right of the screen. And just to expedite things, this is what the screen would look like once I press that button. And I've already completed the PPI information just to speed things along here. But your first step would be to go ahead and fill in the client information. Then you would navigate to the Release of Information section of the screen. For the permission status, you're going to select No. The start date will automatically populate to today's date, and you do not need to enter an end date. At that point in time, we'll go ahead and click Add Record. But I did want to highlight the Consent Refuse section of the screen. Please do not press this button unless the participant has explicitly stated that they do not want any of their PPI to be entered into the database at all. This would be in the circumstance of privatizing a record, so only your agency would be able to see these client PPI data points. But if the client also stated, I do not want to share any of my PPI even with you, you would click the Consent Refuse button. But for our purposes today, we're going to keep the client PPI and add the record. So now we've created the record. We're going to go ahead and next move to the client privacy button, which is this shield icon in the upper right of the screen. We're going to open the client privacy settings. And under the privacy section for client privacy, you're actually going to click the private button and save changes. And now we have a private record that is accessible to your agency only, so you can continue to enter data such as program enrollments and services and case notes, and only members from your agency would be able to view those data elements. All right, so I just reviewed the steps that are necessary for when a client denies their consent to share PPI during intake. In my second example, I will demonstrate what to do when the client has already had a record created but no longer consents to sharing their PPI. So our first step for this process is actually going to be hopping over to the OC HMIS website. We're going to go to the HMIS Forms and Documents tab at the top of the screen. And from the drop-down options, we're going to select HMIS Policy and Privacy Forms. Give it a second to load. So it brings us to this screen. These are where we keep all of our policy and privacy forms. At the bottom, you will see here Client Revocation of Consent Form. We're going to go ahead and open the language option that works for our client. This is the Client Revocation of Consent Form. I wanted to briefly highlight that a signature is needed from both the participant and the staff. So we need both signatures for this to be valid. Moving back to our screen here, we're going to pull up our client profile. I would highly suggest searching by the participant's date of birth or last four of their social. So in this case, I'm searching by the date of birth, and my participant's name is Samwise Gamgee. I'll click the Edit button to open their record. So the first thing that I'm going to do in their record is that I'm going to go to their Files section of their record by clicking the Files button at the top of the screen. This will bring me to the Client Files page, and I'm going to add file. For the category, on the live site, it may populate with a different category automatically. Conveniently for our exercise today has already populated for the category with client revocation of consent. But if that does not happen on the live site, just make sure that for the category, you're selecting client revocation of consent. And for the predefined name, you also have selected client revocation of consent for. And at that point, you can add file and upload the signed revocation of consent and then add it to the record. So once that's been completed, you can go ahead and have your agency administrator for your organization reach out to the HMIS help desk and let us know that you need the record to be anonymized. The OC HMIS staff will remove the client's name, date of birth, and social security number from the client record, and also contact any agencies with active enrollments for that participant to notify them of the change made per the client's request. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. I'm going to add those links that I had mentioned earlier for the KB accessing and completing release of information ROI page, and also the refusing revoking consent knowledge base articles, which outlines those procedures that I just reviewed.
Thank you, Amy, for sharing. And could you verify you see the PowerPoint again in full screen?
I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. And just wanted to share a quick note, as Amy mentioned, if the client is providing information to your agency and is not giving consent to share data, you can still enter the client data and set the profile to private, because that means that only your agency is able to review that information. The consent is giving permission to share data within our database with other partner agency. As Amy mentioned, the other process is anonymizing the profile, and that is for profiles, clients that are working with multiple agencies. We cannot set a profile to private if there's multiple agencies that's already provided data entry and services to the participant. So the route would be to anonymize the profile. You, Amy, we'll just pause to see if there's any questions.
For clients who have their data anonymized, for the purposes of data quality, what gets recorded in those data points? Is it client refused or data not collected? Like if I'm looking at the APR, sometimes I use APR for data quality.
Elizabeth, do you mind supporting with that question?
Yes. Carmen, could you restate your question? I'm sorry, it's a little, I have audio issue on my end.
It might be me. I mean, I'm in motion, so I probably have a lot of noise too. So for the purpose of data quality review, when a client is anonymized, what gets recorded in those data points? Is it client refused or data not collected?
And then Carmen, please let me know if I'm understanding your question correctly. So if a client is requesting to anonymize their profile, what we would do on our end is we will remove any PPI that was entered, and then the quality status of those fields would be then client refuse.
That was my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carmen, for your question.
I believe there was another question from Jennifer in the chat. If someone were to unintentionally press consent refused, or they would like to know how they would go about fixing that, or if a client changes their mind. And then those cases, I believe that the agency, if it was a privatized profile, I believe it can go back and the agency that privatized the profile can set it back to public.
So if a user selects consent refused, it will gray out the first name, last name, date of birth fields. If if the client changes their mind and you haven't saved the record yet, so you're still entering data, you'll need to return to the search screen and basically start over and create a new client record. If the record was already saved and they changed their mind, yeah, you'd probably need to put in a, I'm thinking that you would need to still create a new record and then put in a ticket, and we would merge the two records. Or potentially just delete the other one if you haven't done any data entry on it yet, because like I said, those fields are grayed out and that can't be undone. So you will most likely need to start a new record, but please submit a ticket with us and we can help you through that.
Aaron, for your support. We have a few questions in the Q&A, so we're gonna be adding responses to that. So please review your question as we're adding responses. Thank you. I don't see any other questions for this topic, so we'll go ahead and move forward for now. Hugo?
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to begin by going over this month's report highlight, the Data Accuracy Dashboard. The Data Accuracy Dashboard is a report made available for HMIS users to provide a broad overview of the accuracy of their agency's HMIS data. This dashboard can be filtered by reporting period, project type, and project name. Users can use these filters if they want a more granular look at specific data within the Data Accuracy Dashboard. Agency administrators should review the data accuracy dashboard once per month for all projects at their agency to assess the accuracy of their HMIS data. The dashboard information should be shared with relevant staff members for further review and verification of client information entered into HMIS. Any dashboard information that does not reflect real client information should be corrected by the relevant staff member. Agency administrators can locate the data accuracy dashboard in Clarity by navigating to Reports, Data Analysis, Orange County Clarity System Reports, Data Quality, and then Data Accuracy Dashboard. Next slide, please. And now we'll begin a brief demonstration of how you can access the Data Accuracy Dashboard. And just to confirm, can everyone see my screen right now? I should be on the OC Training Agency in the training site.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, we can see.
Great, thank you for that. So to navigate to the report on the upper right-hand side of the page, under this Launchpad icon, you'll click on that and then navigate to Reports. Once here, you will switch from the Report Library tab to the Data Analysis tab. Then on the Data Analysis tab page, you will find Orange County Clarity System Reports. Since we are on the training site, this is labeled slightly differently. And then under this section, you will navigate all the way down to Data Quality and then Data Accuracy Dashboard. And I've already preloaded the dashboard in this tab. As you can see, this dashboard has 3 filters associated with it: reporting period, project type code, and agency name. For this example, we will be filtering within the last month for permanent housing projects within this agency, Orange County Training Agency. On the actual data accuracy dashboard, you will see a lot more titles with a lot more information. But because this is under the Orange County Training Agency in the training site, we've provided a very simplified and condensed version of this dashboard for demonstration purposes. We'll be going over just one tile today, the date of birth after project start date. So when you first open up the data accuracy dashboard, you will see a variety of tiles, and each has a title and a brief description. So if you were to navigate and click on the caret icon, it provides you a more in-depth description about that tile. So for example, for date of birth after project start date, the description is number of client whose date of birth is after the client's project start date. You can click on that specific tile to open up a interface that contains a list of client information regarding that specific data accuracy issue. We just give it one moment to load. you will see that this sheet of client information will load, and it contains the list of client IDs, enrollment IDs, name, product start date for all clients that the system has determined is in violation of this data accuracy point. For this example, we'll be looking at client number 3. So on the leftmost side of the page, you can click on a specific client ID number, and it'll populate a pop-up window, which will link you directly to that client's Clarity profile. In this example, we can see that the user or the client, Happy Halloween, has a date of birth of October 31st, 2023. If we were to navigate over to the Programs tab, we can see that the program in question, where there appears to be a data accuracy issue, is double checking COC funded permanent supportive housing training project, and then the COC funded permanent supportive housing training project. As you can see, their project start date is the 1st of October 2023. And as we all are made aware, it's not possible for a client to be enrolled in a project prior to their date of birth. So once a data point has been found to be inaccurate and you have verified that with your relevant staff members, then you can assign a case manager to go into that client's profile and update that information to make sure it reflects what we see in real life. And I think that's all in terms of sharing.
Thank you, Hugo. Can you verify that you can see the PowerPoint in full screen?
Yes, we can see the PowerPoint.
Thank you. I did want to pause. There was a question in our Q&A, and I wanted to answer this live in the meeting. There was a question about if a profile is set to private, they would not be able to connect to other agency. How would this be handled if they want to participate in CES to get connected to housing and shelter resources? And thank you for that question. So clients who are interested in participating in CS will need a public profile, but they can have their PPI anonymized. We do have a KB with additional information in ensuring that the client profile is accessible by the CS team. And the way to go about that is ensuring that their PPI is not included and have a public profile to then still be enrolled in coordinated entry. We'll be including additional notes and KB to that to help with that question as well. Thank you so much for that question. Hugo, I don't see any other questions about the report, so we can move forward. Thank you.
Actually, Elizabeth, I think on the chat there is one question about the report from Jocelyn at FSC. Is there a detailed report of this that we can download? Elizabeth, can I share my screen once more so I can navigate back to the training site?
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. So, Jocelyn, to answer your question, you can download a copy of the dashboard. Just to verify, can everyone see my screen again?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Great. So you can download information about a specific tile. You can navigate to that tile and have that populate. And then you can see on the top right-hand side of the page, there is a download button. You can download that as a CSV file, Excel file, or whatever one is most convenient for you. Or you can download information about all the tiles in whole. There should be a download option here. And then this will either download all the files as a whole as a kind of condensed CSV file or a PDF file. But those are the options you have to download all the information about specific titles.
And then, Hugo, I also would like to share some notes. Our HMS team will also we recommend running this report, but we also sent out quarterly data accuracy reports So agencies, please keep an eye out for those emails. Draft data will be sent to your Dropbox so that you can have client level data that's highlighting the data elements that may be flagged for data accuracy or missing data. Hugo, could you see the PowerPoint again?
Yes, we can see the PowerPoint once more.
Thank you, Hugo.
Right. So next up is HMIS user inactivity and training. Clarity automatically locks user accounts after a period of inactivity of more than 60 days. Users will typically receive a notification from Clarity 2 calendar days prior to their account becoming locked. The HMS Help Desk recommends that users set a calendar reminder each month to prompt them to log in to avoid this Clarity locking issue occurring. Once an account is locked, an agency administrator will need to submit a ticket to the HMIS Help Desk to reset that user's training materials for later account reactivation. Inactive users will need to retake the following training courses/materials before the HMIS Help Desk will reactivate their account. And these are HMIS Part 1, HMIS Part 2, and the HMIS Skills Test.
Hugo, I don't see any questions, so we'll go ahead and move forward. Michaela?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Data entry guidance. We received feedback from partner agency admins to review the key components of data quality that highlight the importance of data entry that is used for the data quality report cards and the project performance report. Going over the 4 major factors of the report, we would like to discuss the importance of entering data in a timely fashion while ensuring the data is accurate and how it can be achieved. We have data timeliness. It is important to enter data in a timely manner because it ensures data recorded in HMIS reflects the most current information on the client served. Data timeliness can only be achieved when the client's data is entered in HMIS as soon as it is collected. Data completeness. It ensures data recorded in HMIS represents the population served comprehensively. The data completeness is achieved when all required data elements are answered for all of the clients in the system. Data accuracy. It ensures the reliability and validity of the information recorded in HMIS. Data accuracy is achieved when clients provide real information and intake staff document and enter information correctly by ensuring congruence in the data. Data consistency. It is important to have the same understanding of the client's information and the way it is collected in order to have accuracy. In other words, data consistency is a prerequisite in order to achieve data accuracy. Data consistency is achieved when all HMIS users across all agencies have the same understanding of the client's information that is collected and entered in HMIS. Goal 11, receive referrals from the coordinated entry system. We also received feedback to go over Goal 11 related to guidance around data entry and review. Universe of clients included in this measure are head of households with the project start date during the reporting period. This measure is comparing the number of new enrollments in the housing project during the reporting period to the number of completed referrals in the housing project had during the reporting period. Completed referrals means that a household was matched to a housing opportunity through the coordinated entry system, and that match resulted in an enrollment in a housing project at that agency. To ensure the referral is completed, users can review the History tab. The referral should have an end date that matches the program enrollment. Under the Programs tab, there should be a link icon which represents there was a referral linkage to this enrollment. Then I want to pause for any questions before we go over our demonstration.
Hi, Michaela. I don't see any questions coming in, so we can move forward with the demo.
Okay. Thank you. And Elizabeth, can you please confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see the training site.
Thank you. I'm now going to be showing you the navigation and demonstration on how to read the PPR for Goal 11. I do want to inform you all information shown is fictitious, but we do have a similar copy on our live site that you can run and reference to your agency. So as you've seen here, this is our OC training agency. The navigation to get to this report, you would start by navigating to the Launchpad, selecting the Reports tab, which will take you to the report library. You want to go ahead and switch to Data Analysis. Once that populates, you would see the Orange County Training System reports. You would select that drop down and you would scroll down until you find the project performance report. And for this here, for this example, we already have the report open. Once the report has populated, you will see goal 1, 7, 11, and 12. For this example, we'll be opening goal 12, or sorry, goal 11. You would select the three dots and you would view and expand it. As you see the graph, you can see the enrollments referred from the CES and some without. The blue section are for the clients who have been referred from the CES, which is about 18%. And then the pink section are the flagged enrollments without the CES referral, which is 82%. When correcting these errors, if the participant was referred by the CES and it has been flagged, please review to ensure a linkage is created to correct this error. And then I also do want to show the navigation for our live site as well. So same, going to the Launchpad and reports. And then it will take you to the report library. You will select data analysis. And under the project performance section, reports, you would have the report as well as the report details.
Kayla, I don't see any questions in the chat, so we can move forward. Michaela, can you verify that you see our PowerPoint?
Yes.
Thank you.
HMIS Interface Focus Group. 211OC would like to request users to join our focus group to test out our new Clarity interface. We ask that users submit a ticket using the feedback category and let us know if you are interested in participating in the HMIS Interface Focus Group.
Thank you, Michaela. And a screenshot to the right is an example of what the new interface is. So we would like users to volunteer to participate in the focus group to review and provide feedback on the new Clarity interface. See any questions? So we'll move forward.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, feel free.
So how long will the focus group last, and when will the new interface launch?
Thank you, Carmen, for your question. We're currently in the planning phase. So once we get a good count of users who that want to participate, we'll be providing more context about the structure of our feedback and the time commitment for the focus group. And for the interface launch date, we don't have a date yet. We are working with our vendor to get a more finalized date, but as of right now, there's no date yet. We're still in the review and feedback phase. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
And we also wanted to share our partner at ECI would like to invite users to participate in an interview. The interview will take 30 minutes to 1 hour. They would like users that could represent their agency to speak on the agency's role, challenges, and success addressing homelessness. So for those who would like to participate, please email Justin for scheduling. We'll also include that information in our meeting minutes. Michaela?
Thank you, Elizabeth. We have our SOAR webinar that is approaching March 6th at 12 p.m. and it does require a reservation, so please RSVP. Next, we have our live HMIS Part 2 training course, March 26th at 11 a.m. And I would also like to mention that you can check out our website when there are training opportunities by other vendors that we provide them on our website. And a newsletter reminder with more details will be sent out the week of the OC HMIS trainings.
I don't see any questions, so we'll move forward. Project performance report. Just wanted to let everyone know that the homeless prevention PPR will be published in the upcoming weeks. We'll be sending out a newsletter once the report is published. And as mentioned at the beginning of our meeting, the following PPRs correction will be sent out this week: parent supportive housing and other PH projects, rapid rehousing, and transitional housing. We are working on publishing all 3 PPR to support with this year's NOFO application. So agencies, please keep an eye out for an email to access your draft data. Michaela?
The HMIS Help Desk will be closed on Monday, March 31st in observance of Cesar Chavez Day, and we will be back in the office the following business day to assist you.
Our HMS meeting survey, our HMS help desk team would like to invite all users to feel free to submit a survey, provide us feedback regarding our meeting, and submit topics you're interested in reviewing in the upcoming meetings. We really appreciate your input and would like to cover topics that you're interested in reviewing in upcoming meetings. The survey link is added to the chat. Feel free to complete that. For those who joined us a little bit later in the meeting, please enter your name and agency name into the chat for attendance. We do have some time for Q&A, and we will also host office hours, so feel free to add your questions into the Q&A or unmute yourself. And a friendly reminder that all of our meeting materials and recording will be available on our website, and we'll be sending out a recap newsletter to link all those as well. Questions regarding the topics we covered today. So I just want to thank everyone for your time. We'll have our next user meeting April 2nd. For those who don't want to stay on for office hour, feel free to hop off, but we'll go ahead and transition to office hours to address any general HMS functionality questions.
I have a question. I put in a ticket about